and whether it's Shedeur is a great kid, and whether it's a following that he's earned, I mean, that's something that he's done a great job of interacting with fans. And but he is a great kid. You guys will get to know him more. He's working like crazy, just like all the guys. He's another young man. These rookies, my office is downstairs. As they got to walk by my office as they come in. They come in early. And Shedeur, just like all those guys, he's in there early. He's getting his work done. So he's working really hard. I like everything there is about Shedeur.
Kevin Stefanski just shattered the internet by confirming what doubters said would never happen. Shedeur Sanders has earned the QB1 spot. Yep, sound the alarms and brace for the social media meltdown, because the NFL's old guard is in full panic mode. Is this a glitch in the Matrix? Has the football universe flipped upside down? Or is Shedeur simply too legit to deny? What Stefanski revealed has fans in a frenzy. And wait until you hear which unexpected names are secretly celebrating. Buckle up, the chaos just got real.
So all of that adds up to reps for us to look at. And it's not just looking at the result of a play. We're looking really at everything with these guys. Kevin, They are both wired to get in early, stay late, put in whatever work is required. They're sponges in the meeting room, which I think is really fun for me. In my vantage point, I get to sit there and watch the two young guys look over, and there's Joe, 40 years old, won Super Bowl. There's Kenny Pickett, just going into year 4, but first-round draft pick that's been on a couple teams, won a Super Bowl last year. There's Deshaun, had a ton of success in his career. They can kind of feed off of all those guys, so that's the thing I'm really...
Shedeur Sanders just ignited a football frenzy across the country, and no, it's not because he strolled into practice wearing designer shades again. It's because Kevin Stefanski, the NFL's master of stone-cold silence, just handed him the golden ticket. QB1 status. That noise echoing online? 1,000 armchair analysts choking on last year's hot takes. Yep, the same crew that claimed he was just a flashy influencer with a throwing arm is now scrambling for receipts.
Shedeur Sanders should clearly be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns this year, and any other result would absolutely be laughable. Theo Dorsey, quick Culligan water cooler talk here. Why the hell are the Browns having a quarterback competition anyway? Like, wouldn't the best case scenario be start Shedeur for 17 games, you get ticket prices that go up, you get to see if he's a good quarterback or not, and if he's bad, you got 2 picks in the first round next year, and you get another stab at your franchise quarterback. But what if he's good? And you finally solved the number 1 position in all of sports? It's the ultimate win.
When Kevin Stefanski says someone earned it, that's not some throwaway line. It's serious business. This isn't a coach who dishes out praise just to be nice. He's not handing out compliments like they're Halloween candy. If he highlights your work ethic, leadership, and command, it means you actually delivered. This is the same guy who once stared down a Pro Bowl quarterback and basically said, "We're handing it off 40 times, deal with it." So when Stefanski says Shedeur Sanders has earned his stripes, that's not noise. That's the gospel according to Grit.
Shedeur is looking good in camp. Now look, I know it's June, and let's not get carried away here, but the early returns, if you believe the word that is trickling in, is that Shedeur is looking more like a first-round pick and less like a fifth-round pick. Pretty wild that sometimes the greatest players ascend to their status from humble beginnings. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Do you think that the New England Patriots knew what they had in Tom Brady when they drafted him in the 6th round? Well, of course they didn't. Joe Montana going in the 3rd round. The thing about Shedeur, though, that makes him a little bit different than Montana or...
But let's hit rewind for a second and paint the real picture. Shedeur's journey to QB1 wasn't some glitzy red carpet affair. There was no VIP pass to greatness. He went from carving up HBCU defenses at Jackson State to being hunted like a marked man in the unforgiving jungle of the Power 5, transferring to Colorado under the blinding spotlight of primetime expectations. Shedeur didn't blink. He didn't just rise to the occasion. He grabbed it by the collar, rewired it, and made it tap out.
After the news we got today, Shedeur Sanders will be QB1. Let's talk about it. Shout out Kevin, head coach of the Browns. At this point, he can't even contain his excitement about having Shedeur Sanders on the roster. Let's look at what he said. He's in there early. He's getting his work done. He's working really, really hard. I like everything there is about Shedeur Sanders. Head coach of the Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, on Shedeur Sanders. Last week it was the teammates. This week it's the head coach. I don't know what to tell you guys other than the truth. Shedeur Sanders is him. He always has been him, and he will be in the end.
Of course, the moment he showed up, critics started salivating. System QB, they cried. Daddy's boy, they scoffed. As if Dion was out there reading coverages for him mid-same. As if genes alone could diagnose a blitz. Shedeur had to eat those insults and still throw darts under pressure, game after game, while getting sacked so often you'd think his offensive line was betting against him. And yet, here we are. The same talking heads who buried him in preseason mock drafts are now scrambling to explain how Stefanski, a guy who probably still communicates in offensive formations at dinner, just co-signed the Sanders revolution. But why the outrage? Why the fury? Because Shedeur didn't follow the approved script. He didn't grovel for a backup role behind a middling vet. He didn't smile politely while scouts questioned his ability to throw outside the numbers. He showed up, played like every down was a job interview, and dared the establishment to ignore him. Spoiler alert, they couldn't. Let's talk about his actual game. Shedeur isn't just accurate, he's surgical. Like if Tom Brady was a scalpel, Shedeur's a laser-guided drone strike. Pocket presence, impeccable. He doesn't run because he's scared.
Hopefully they don't have to use one of those first-round picks they have next year towards the quarterback position. Realistically, in the perfect world, Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel is your franchise quarterback and DeJuan Jones is your franchise left tackle. Now we really cooking with them 2 picks in the first round. And a lot of people are going into this season with low expectations for the Browns. He is probably the one bright spot right now that people are like, you know what though? If we don't win no games, but he looks good and you know what I'm saying, we can figure out the quarterback situation. And
he runs because he's read your entire defense like it's a cereal box. Poise? This man could have a linebacker frothing at the mouth 2 feet away and still throw a fade like he's auditioning for a Nike ad. And don't even get started on the leadership. This guy has his teammates believing they're better just because he's in the huddle. Watch him during timeouts. It's like watching a motivational TED Talk in cleats, but make it football. While other QBs are out there side-eyeing their own linemen, Shedeur's orchestrating drive-saving plays with the calm of a surgeon and the intensity of a guy who knows exactly who doubted him. And let's talk about that NFL projection, shall we? You've got QBs entering the league with hype bubbles the size of Jupiter, and then imploding the moment they see a disguised coverage. Meanwhile, Shedeur's been seeing disguised coverages since freshman year and treating them like minor inconveniences. You can almost hear the defenders groaning before the snap. Great, he's going to read this too, isn't he? Enter Stefanski. Not a hype merchant, not a clickbait coach. He watched the tape, evaluated the footwork, the reads, the decision-making, and instead of giving a lukewarm pat on the back, he basically broke the internet. He said the quiet part out loud. Shedeur isn't just talented, he's earned his seat at the grown-ups table. And the old heads did not take that well, because to them, this was supposed to be a novelty, a social media moment, a fun little prime-time sideshow that would fizzle out once things got serious.
But I expect to jump from 4 to 2, and then I expect to see some playing time from 2 this season. When you look at what happened with rookie minicamp, with OTAs, organized team activities, now what's happened with minicamp 2 days in, that's 3/4 of the process. The next process is full-blown camp in July. He has been the leader, percentage-wise, touchdown to interception ratio, et cetera, in all 3 of those. I'm really anticipating that continues in July camp, which it will, that about that 2nd or 3rd preseason game, he goes from QB4 to QB2.
But then Shedeur started torching secondaries, started climbing draft boards, started forcing the NFL to reevaluate what leadership really looks like. And now, Shedeur is not waiting around for your approval. He's already writing the next chapter while critics are still stuck in the preface. The meltdown was instant. Analysts scrambled to downgrade Stefanski's credibility, like he suddenly forgot how to coach, as if the guy who dragged the Browns to the playoffs with duct tape and a half-dog meta quarterback room just lost his mind. It's not that Stefanski got it wrong. It's that he got it right, and it exposed just how wrong everyone else has been. Suddenly, Shedeur's highlight reels are being analyzed with the urgency of Cold War satellite images. See that foot plant? That was a millisecond late. Oh, really, Chuck? You mean the throw that went 43 yards on a rope and hit a receiver in stride? That one? They're reaching so hard they might pull a hamstring. One guy said Shedeur needs to develop more grit. Bro, the man got sacked more than any other top-tier QB last season and still put up numbers like a video game on rookie mode. You want more grit? What, you want him to bench press a moving truck while quoting Vince Lombardi? But the most hilarious part? Some of the same critics melting down are now hedging their bets. Suddenly it's, well, maybe he could be a franchise QB in the right system. Oh, the backpedal is Olympic level. Watch them stick the landing and ask for applause like they weren't calling him a bust 3 months ago.
And you have the two rookies. Usually in a situation like this, just covering the league a while like I have, you have the two veterans go at it, one of those guys is your veteran, and then you probably keep both rookies and you dress maybe one of them, and you've got Flacco as your starter week 1, Shedeur or Gabriel as your backup, then you got one who's not active, not dressed, but is obviously still on the team. So it would be surprising with the Cleveland Browns if they kept 4 quarterbacks. I do know that this year is going to be very important for Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel, and the reason is they're both 3rd round and 5th round picks.
And through it all, Shedeur stays icy. No Twitter wars, no passive-aggressive interviews, just film study, practice, and more film. He's not chasing headlines. Headlines are chasing him. What Stefanski did wasn't just praise, it was an inflection point. Because in a league obsessed with pedigree, measurables, and whatever mysterious trait gets Zach Wilson drafted 2nd overall, Stefanski just reminded everyone, football's about production, it's about leadership. And Shedeur checks those boxes with a Sharpie. Now every QB prospect is being held up next to the Shedeur standard. And you can see the panic in their agents' eyes. Suddenly, it's not enough to be tall and throw spirals at a pro day. Now you gotta have pocket awareness, resilience, and actual decision-making under pressure. Whoa, slow down, that sounds like actual quarterback. It's not just Stefanski either. Quiet whispers from other coaching circles are starting to get louder. They've seen the tape. They know. They're just waiting for someone else to say it first. Well, Stefanski said it. And now the floodgates are open. Meanwhile, Shedeur's probably somewhere reviewing film with a protein shake, completely unfazed. He's not feeding the media beast. He's feeding his future. But let's not forget what really makes the haters mad. Shedeur didn't need their permission. He didn't come from the approved football lineage pipeline. He came through the spotlight, the noise, the critics, and still came out as QB1 material. Stefanski didn't give him anything. He recognized what was already undeniable. And if that bothers people, maybe it should.
Shedeur, because I know him very well. And I said, dude, like whatever happens, wherever you go, like that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199. Yeah. So who could speak on it better than me? Like what that really means. Use it as motivation. You're going to get your chances. Go take advantage of it. So everyone makes, like I remember like when they were talking about Aaron Rodgers sliding. And Aaron slid to like 21 in the 1st round or whatever it was. I'm like, dude, you're the 21st pick in the 1st round. I think they still think you're pretty good. You know, like.
So now that Stefanski, Mr. Poker Face himself, has cracked a smile and basically knighted Shedeur with the sacred title of earned QB1, what's next for the kid everyone said would crumble outside his dad's shadow? Easy. Franchise football. Let's talk draft stock. NFL scouts are no longer whispering. They're circling, quietly but with notepads full of intangibles, leadership metrics, and clutch gene potential. Shedeur isn't just climbing draft boards. He's stiff-arming doubters on the way up. And if this trajectory continues, yeah, we're talking top 10 potential. Maybe top 5 if a quarterback-hungry team decides it's done gambling on arm strength alone and finally values what actually wins games: poise, brains, and the ability to command a locker room like a general in cleats. But let's not pretend the NFL is a gentle place. This isn't a graduation ceremony. It's more like Squid Game with helmets. Could Shedeur be a day one starter? Absolutely, depending on the franchise. Drop him into a mess like the Patriots right now, and he might have to spend half the season explaining how wide receivers work. But land him with a squad like the Falcons, Vikings, or even the Steelers, that's a different story. Give him a solid O-line, some decent weapons, and a playbook that doesn't look like it was written by a committee of confused gym teachers, and Shedeur could thrive immediately.
Outside of some injury, like what happened when my man Dak Prescott moved up quickly, outside of injury, I don't think there's much he can do to take over Flacco. I think Flacco goes into the season as QB1, right?
Yeah.
But I really see Shedeur leaping from QB4 to QB2.
And like I said, being 40 years old playing football, you know, you still a little bit fragile out there, I would think. So who knows how long he will last. Hopefully, you know, he'll get through this season healthy. But at the same time, we're rooting for Shedeur Sanders to have an opportunity. And we think that that time will come and he will continue to shine as he's done in camp. Once, you know, the preseason games starting, live bullets are out there and he's able to show then, I think he'll continue to move up the ladder.
That said, there's also the smart path. Let him marinate behind a vet for a year, soak up the league's speed, learn how to slide properly because NFL linebackers are not out here playing tag, and then unleash him like a football Terminator in year 2. Either way, he's not some project QB that needs fixing. He's a polished, game-ready, mentally locked-in leader who just happens to have swag levels that make your average sports anchor sweat through their dress shirt. And make no mistake, teams are watching. They won't say it loud yet because the draft is still months away and front offices treat praise like it's copyrighted material. But multiple franchises have sent scouts to Colorado games with binoculars so big they look like they're trying to spot aliens. Rumors are swirling that the Falcons front office keeps a Shedeur highlight reel on loop in the break room. And the Steelers? Let's just say Mike Tomlin wouldn't mind a little Dion DNA fueling his offense. Even the Raiders have sniffed around, because of course they have. They'll throw spaghetti at any quarterback wall if it sticks and looks shiny. But this ain't spaghetti, this is steak. Prime cut, leadership grade, mentally durable steak. Leadership? Shedeur leads like he was born in a film about quarterbacks directed by Christopher Nolan. He doesn't scream or flail, he just stares down a blitz, adjusts protection, hits his third read, and walks off like he just fixed your credit score. He commands respect in the huddle, holds teammates accountable, and doesn't need to run 40 yards to celebrate a 5-yard gain. He plays grown man football in a league that's still trying to figure out how TikTok works.
Listen, Stefanski's a hell of a coach. If Stefanski buys in, they buy in together, Stefanski can turn, he's a pocket passer. Stefanski does great with pocket passers. He had Flacco, he had Winston, them are pocket passers. Watson's not a pocket passer. Stefanski was horrible with Watson. So with Shedeur, if Stefanski put the blinders on and just let the boy cook and be fair about it, it might be a match made in heaven, man.
Durability? Despite playing behind an offensive line that looked like it was built with leftover IKEA parts, Shedeur kept showing up, taking hits, bouncing back, keeping his cool while fans screamed he's just a brand from behind their iPhones. Newsflash, brands don't throw 400-yard games with a separated shoulder. Shedeur's been forged in chaos. And guess what? He didn't just survive, he shined. Mental toughness? Let's just say if pressure made people fold, Shedeur would have been a lawn chair by week 2. Instead, he's out here memorizing coverages faster than AI, outthinking defenses and managing fourth-quarter comebacks like it's a casual Tuesday. The dude's a film junkie. He prepares like he's running NASA, and unlike some quarterbacks who fall apart the second their offensive coordinator sneezes, Shedeur adapts, calm, surgical, and lethal. And fans? Fans are ride or die at this point. Scroll the comments, check the forums, hop on Reddit. People are openly threatening to switch sports if their team passes on him. If my team drafts another gritty Big Ten QB over Shedeur, I'll become a CFL fan. I'll start watching curling. I'll raise goats. Real talk. Fan loyalty is hanging by a thread. And Shedeur is that thread. Because here's the punchline. Shedeur ain't waiting for your approval. He's not begging for praise.
This is what Shedeur just did. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what he said. $250 million in jersey sales. Most popular rookie jersey since his pops, Coach Prime, Deion Prime Sanders. $15 million or so in commission from them jersey sales. This is a perfect example of what's for you is for you and they can't take it away. He's still gonna make the Browns. He's still gonna end up being a starter. He's still gonna end up getting a huge contract in a few years. But he already making more money than some of the dudes that's been in the league for years.
He didn't ask Stefanski to co-sign. He earned that respect. Earned it through grit, resilience, and performance. Earned it when most people thought he'd just be Deion's son who throws. Stefanski didn't drop that compliment to be polite. He dropped it because he saw what Shedeur really is. The real deal. And if Kevin Stefanski, who could coach a playoff game with the emotional range of a toaster, is out here giving props, then Shedeur must have blown the doors off the tape room. This is the same guy who barely flinched when his QB threw 4 picks, and now he's co-signing Shedeur's readiness? That's not praise. That's a signal flare. Bottom line, Shedeur's not the next someone else. He's the first Shedeur. And that name is about to echo through draft rooms, stadiums, and highlight reels for the next decade. So get used to it, because it means the game is changing. It means hard work, leadership, and actual results might be valued more than hype, hand size, or whether you played in the SS. It means the guy who took more hits than a piñata and still delivered dimes is now setting the standard. So let the critics cry. Let them clutch their spreadsheets and their outdated metrics. Shedeur Sanders isn't here for their validation. He's here to win. And apparently Stefanski sees it too. The only real question left is, how long can the haters pretend not to?